Hi, I'm Gary White for Central Kentucky Television. I'm here with Lizzie Spalding. We're at the Marion County Extension Office for our cooking segment. It's May when we're actually recording this,
yes,
which means we are getting into barbecuing and outdoor cooking time, right?
Exactly.
And today we're going to do a turkey barbecue, I believe, right?
Yes, and I told Gary that it has been taste tested and it's very good, so.
Good. Even kids tasted it and said it was good, so you know that's saying something.
Miss Juanita made this in at least one of the schools and they liked it, so it has been kid tested and approved as well. So.
Fantastic. Now it's turkey barbecue, which means that it's a little more healthy than some other alternatives?
Correct.
Okay.
And that's the first thing we're going to do is brown our ground turkey.
Okay.
Before we do that, I'm going to chop up our onion. You put one medium onion in there with it as well, so I'm going to cut that up real quick before we...
Okay. And you have your pan sizzling away or getting hot over here,
yes.
I guess. It's not sizzling yet because there's nothing in there. But it's getting hot. What temperature did you start at?
I just have this one on a low setting just to get it warm, and I'll turn it up whenever we put it in there. It says to cook it over medium heat, so
okay.
That's what we're gonna do.
Now, I know we did some segments in May for Beef Month because May is Beef Month.
It is Beef Month, and here I am making turkey barbecue.
Well, that's all right, because we're doing a healthy alternative for those who don't like beef or can't eat it as well. Some people can. But with the beef, they were talking about there's a certain temperature degree that you need to cook the beef to in order for it to be healthy. Does that go for turkey as well?
It actually says, I noticed this whenever I picked the package up right here on the ground turkey, it's got this little green sticker.
Okay.
And it says, for food safety, cook to a minimum internal temperature of 165 degrees Fahrenheit or greater, as measured by a meat thermometer. So I thought that was good that they have those stickers on there now.
Very good.
I had never seen those before, so that must be new with the labeling.
Yes, that's very good.
But that's great because that way people know what temperature to cook those at, especially for barbecues. I feel like, sometimes you get distracted and start doing other things and you're not paying as much attention, so.
And just going by sight isn't a very reliable way of doing it.
No, you really need to check those food temperatures. Don't want anybody leaving the barbecue sick. Exactly.
Make sure they all stay healthy. Any particular kind of onion we're using?
We are just using a plain white onion.
Okay. It's going to help us with the grilling of our ground turkey, right?
It is.
And do you do the whole turkey, do you say? Or
it's a pound.
The whole onion?
It says a medium onion. I am not going to use the whole onion.
Okay.
You could if you wanted to. It just depends on your preference. A lot of people don't care for onion, so that's one reason why I'm not going to stick the whole one in here.
Yeah, that'd be a lot of onion.
Right. It's really just for flavoring, so I think you don't really need the whole medium onion.
Are you an onion fan?
I do like onion, so it doesn't bother me. It doesn't faze me one bit, but I know a lot of people don't care for those.
And you're slicing it up there to get a little smaller sizes
Finer.
For us, right?
Mm-hmm.
Very good. Knife skills are something very important too, aren't they?
Yes.
When you went into this field, did you have to take any classes on that? Because that's something I see people doing, and it just scares me.
It is something that we talk about in our trainings, and especially whenever we have kids cooking, we make sure that we teach them proper knife skills, how to carry it, with the blade pointing down, and to tuck their fingers under, and to cut away from you. So we definitely make sure that we teach those.
Okay.
Don't want anybody getting hurt in the kitchen.
Exactly.
And those are good to practice for adults as well.
Yeah, because those knives can be sharp.
They can.
If they're not, you really don't want it, right?
Exactly. You need those sharp knives.
As I said, we're at the Marion County Extension Office, and before we started getting ready for this segment today, we were talking a little bit about some of the renovations that have occurred here at the Extension Office. The back room looks completely different.
Right. You would know it if you walked in. If we blindfolded you and took you in there, you would know where you were.
Exactly. And we had some events there. The acoustics are fantastic now, a lot better than they were. And there's carpeting all on the floor. It looks very nice. Now, you said they've been going on for a few months.
Since the beginning of the month. We still have a few things that we want to get done with the room, but the basic overhaul of it is finished, and we're very pleased with the results.
Yeah, it looks great. All right. So we got our onion going.
Yes. First thing we're going to do, we've got some vegetable oil here. We're going to put 1 teaspoon of vegetable oil in our skillet, and then I'm going to toss these onions in there. Did I say tea or tablespoon? Teaspoon. I was about to put a whole bunch in there.
And we're using some vegetable oil. Is that a healthy alternative too?
Vegetable oil is not, it's not so bad. Okay. Olive oil is lower fat, but we're only using a teaspoon of this, so it's not so bad. If we were using a larger quantity, the recipe would probably call for an olive oil or something.
And if you do want a copy of this recipe, it is available at the extension offices, correct?
It is. This is actually out of our NEP calendars, the ones that we give out. It's the June recipe, so I'm right there with timing. We're
very good.
We're
exactly.
on track. And you should be able to get this at any extension office in Marion, Washington, or Nelson.
Right, and if you already have those calendars, just go to June and you'll have the recipe there for it.
Yes, if you already have the calendar and you've been wondering about it, you can see it done here and see if you think it looks good.
It does. In the picture, it looks good anyway.
Get our...
So we have a pound of
ground turkey.
Okay.
And this is the lean turkey too.
Okay.
So we're even more healthy.
That's right. So when you say that it's lean, that means there's less fat?
Yes. Okay. And usually those leaner, we all know those leaner cuts of beef tend to be a little bit more expensive, but this wasn't so bad. This was about $3.50 for the pound. So it wasn't that much more than the ground beef. And those ground beef prices are actually rising, so when you go to your grocery store, you might actually find it cheaper than the ground beef.
Okay.
One of the reasons this was more is because ground beef was actually on sale today whenever I went to Kroger, so.
Very good. Well, it's beef month.
Right.
But again, this is the June recipe in the calendar that you can get at the extension offices. We're about halfway, I guess we're halfway through the year now with that calendar. So we'll be having another calendar coming out not too long from now. But these recipes are a healthy alternative to some different ideas that you may have used in the past, right?
Right.
Sizzling now.
It is sizzling now. And one of the reasons that it has a ground turkey instead of ground beef as a substitute is because ground turkey is lower in saturated fat.
Okay.
So that's why they've made that substitution.
Okay. And saturated fat is bad.
Right.
Right. It's something you don't want to have a lot of in your diet.
You want to watch those trans fats and those saturated fats.
Remember when I was younger, my mom, my dad had a heart attack when I was younger, and so instead of eating ground beef for different things, she would use turkey. So she'd make like meatloaf out of the ground turkey and hamburgers out of the turkey and all that kind of stuff.
And for a lot of things, I don't think you can really taste the difference. I think this tastes just as good as if you used beef.
Yeah.
And it makes it more convenient for what you have on hand. So if you had ground turkey and you didn't have any ground beef, you could just use that as a substitute.
Exactly.
That is one thing I do like about this recipe is that a lot of the ingredients are things that you're already going to have in your house. So whenever I went to the grocery today, I needed to pick up the turkey, and there was a couple other things I needed to get, but it didn't cost me very much because most of this stuff are things that you're already going to have in your cabinets and pantries and refrigerators. So it's a low-cost recipe because a lot of these are staple ingredients.
And we're cooking it on a medium heat, that you said, right? Makes it safe there too. And you can see the color does change along with it. However, it is important to make sure you do get to the correct internal temperature of the meat.
Want to make sure it's nice and brown all the way through.
Yeah, look at all the onion that's in there. If you put that whole onion in,
that's why we didn't put the whole onion in there. We don't want it to be overwhelming. And that's something you can judge yourself. You know, if you like onion, put the whole thing in there. More power to you. But if you don't, you wouldn't even necessarily have to have onion. Like I said, it's just more for the flavoring. So whatever you prefer.
Now, since it's more lean, does that mean there's not as much grease and fat that will be generated?
Right.
Okay. But still, afterwards, you like to kind of rinse it and get rid of some of that excess.
I do, and we're going to do that today. And like I always say, that does not make it lose flavor. I know some people think that. It does not, though. Just gets rid of some of that extra grease.
That's right. Just makes it even more healthy.
That's right.
That's right. So again, we're making turkey barbecue. We're going to fry this up, get it to the right temperature, make sure it's all cooked through. Then you're going to rinse it off and clean it out for us. And then we're going to come back and add the rest of the recipes.
We
right?
are.
Okay. And you're going to get to see how it all works out. So stay with us, and we'll come back. Sound good?
Sounds great.
All right.